Hello and welcome to me trying to elaborate what are the best city spots on the 3 official Terraforming Mars maps. Before I start off with the base game map, I need to establish that there are two different reasons why you would place a city. A, the most obvious reason, to play the ground game. You place cities such that you can place greeneries next to it and maybe also such that you can form a grid. You see, sometimes all you need is one city, because you will realistically only place 2 to 4 greeneries. Sometimes you play a heavy ground game and occupy half of the map. Then you will need many cities, but in both cases, you want to place these cities in spots that will give you plants back, or maybe rebates from oceans. And in the case when you want to place a lot of cities, you want to choose a spot which is open enough such that you can form a solid grid. Placing cities to play a ground game will most likely happen in the mid to late game. As in the early game, you don't have the plant prod to follow your cities up with greeneries, and you are most likely better off with developing an economy. The second reason why you would want to place cities on the map is to develop your economy. Most city cards are economy builders, but not efficient ones. Cupola City, one of the best early game cities, only gives you an eco boost of 3 for 16 plus 3 mega credits, while a card like Acquired Company gives you 3 mega credit production for 13 and without the power production cost. So why am I talking about this way of placing cities? Well, there are exceptions. With Tharsis, a card like Cupola suddenly becomes much more efficient, and with any corp, Research Outpost is really valuable. So you can play these cities in the early game, and then you certainly care about other stuff than in the mid to late game. You probably want to pick up cards or minerals rather than plants. In general, I talk about these spots as if there are no spots occupied on the map yet. Of course, placing a city next to 3 other greeneries placed by your opponents is worth it, but that's not the point of this video. I want to talk about the potential these spots have on an empty map. Let's start with the base game map. If you want to develop a grid on this map, there are 2 good regions and both are on the equator. Here you can pick up a lot of plants by placing cities and greeneries. I feel like the spot on the right directly to the west of the Singular Ocean is the single best city spot on the map. You can not only get good plant bonuses, but also potentially good ocean rebates when placing greeneries next to your city. These 2 spots have the potential of a 6 mega credit rebate when placing a greenery there later. I also like the fact that when I place my city here and then place an early game greenery, I have the choice of grabbing this steel bonus and often getting an ocean rebate as well, since Viking side is so popular. The other good region on the map is on the left side of the equator. I either go for the middle spot or place my city on Pavonis Mons, but there are honestly a few good combinations. I like this region less as there are no ocean rebates over here, and Noctis City is an unknown. You never know if an opponent has that card and will suddenly grab some points of your grid. Some good singular spots that I like when placing early game cities are definitely also down here, where you can grab a card or some steel, or up here, which is also a great region if you need steel. Just think about Mining Guild playing Protected Valley, Cupola and Mining Area here. Of course, I also need to talk about capital. The base game map has a few good capital spots that can yield 3 points of oceans, but these 2 are most likely to still be available in the late game. So my top 3 spots on this map are here. Let's talk about Elysium. Same as with the base game map, Elysium has 2 regions on the equator that are quite well suited to develop a grid. In the middle, around the 3 plant spot, as well as on the left of the map. Placing a city on a 3 plant spot is great, but directly to the right of it is also an option, if you can follow it up quickly with a greenery. Then you can form a grid like this, which is quite nice for plants and ocean rebates. On the left, I like to form a grid like this. I usually start with this tile. There are less ocean rebates over here, but you can get titanium and steel in the close vicinity, which makes the spot quite flexible. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, Olympus Mons. 3 cards is probably the sickest placement bonus you can imagine. Often people pick up the otherwise rather bad city preludes just to secure this placement bonus. This spot is obviously of the second category. You place your city here not to develop your grid. I mean, obviously you can only place 2 greeneries around it. You rather place a city here just to grab the cards. But honestly, Elysium also has some other great development spots. If you placed a city on Olympus Mons already, you could follow it up with one on Arcia Mons. Elysium Mons is obviously another great spot, and if you want steel or cards, then down in the southeast you can get that. The benefit of these spots in the southeast is that you also work towards Desert Settler, one of the awards on this map. The best capital spots are obviously the 3-pointers. A dream scenario is to incorporate capital in the grid I showed you earlier, like this. So my top 3 spots in this map are these ones. Let's get to Hellas, the weirdest map, honestly. On Hellas, I'm never quite sure where I want to develop my grid. I like these spots, but the planned payoffs and ocean rebates are not huge. The left side is attractive since there are some nice ocean rebates for your greeneries, and you can also choose between getting steel, potentially useful in the early game, and plants, which are more useful later on. On the right side you can grab the 1 card, 1 plant spot, which is also quite nice. But in general you can mix and match between developing your grid and your economy with the plant and steel placement bonuses on Hellas. When placing cities or other tiles on Hellas, there are 2 more important factors to consider: the South Pole as well as the milestone Polar Explorer. Grabbing another ocean tile for 6 mega credits is really great, and if you already did that, then you're on the right track to get Polar Explorer. If I place the city on the South Pole and decide to develop a grid down there, I like to follow it up with placements on the card spots. So my top 3 spots are these. Thanks for watching my video on the best city spots in Terraforming Mars. Do you agree, or do you place your city somewhere else? Let me know in the comments, and also don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.